What happens when you combine a quarterback completing 90% of his passes with the receiver who just torched Wisconsin for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns? You get pure Alabama football magic, and Wisconsin never saw it coming. Stick around because what Ty Simpson and Ryan Williams did yesterday wasn't just impressive, it was a statement to the entire SEC that the Crimson Tide is back and hungrier than ever. Alabama absolutely demolished Wisconsin 42-10 yesterday. And let me tell you something, this wasn't just a win. This was a masterclass in offensive execution that should have the entire college football world taking notice. After that sluggish season opener against Florida State that left everyone questioning this team's identity and wondering if the post-Saban era was going to be a rebuilding phase, Ty Simpson has completely flipped the script and silenced every doubter in the building. We're talking about a quarterback who has looked absolutely unstoppable over the past 2 weeks, completing passes at a ridiculous clip and showing the kind of poise, pocket presence, and leadership that makes you forget he's still developing as a starter. Let me break down just how impressive Simpson's transformation has been. After that mediocre performance in Week 1 where he looked tentative and unsure of himself, he's been completing nearly 90% of his passes over the last 2 games. That's not just good, that's elite quarterback play at the highest level. He's reading defenses like a veteran, making pre-snap adjustments, and most importantly, he's delivering the ball with confidence and precision. The way he's commanding the huddle, calling audibles at the line, and extending plays with his mobility shows a quarterback who's not just growing into the system, but actually starting to master it. But here's where it gets really exciting. Ryan Williams is officially back, and Wisconsin's defense couldn't do anything about it. 5 catches, 165 yards, 2 touchdowns, and those weren't just stat-padding numbers in garbage time against tired defenders. These were momentum-shifting, crowd-silencing, highlight reel plays that reminded everyone why Williams was such a coveted recruit and why Alabama fans were so excited when he committed. The way he was creating separation on his routes, tracking the ball in the air, and making contested catches in traffic was absolutely beautiful to watch. Sure, he had that one drop in the end zone that he definitely wants back, and you could see the frustration on his face immediately after it happened, but when you're putting up numbers like that against the Big Ten defense that came in with a solid game plan, one mistake becomes just a footnote in an otherwise dominant performance. The connection between Simpson and Williams is starting to look absolutely lethal, and it's the kind of quarterback-receiver chemistry that championship teams are built around. Simpson is finding his rhythm in the pocket, making quick decisions under pressure, and delivering strikes with the kind of accuracy and timing that makes defensive coordinators lose sleep at night. Williams is running routes with precision, using his speed and agility to create separation, and most importantly, he's finishing plays when the ball comes his way. The trust level between these two is growing every single week, and you can see it in the way Simpson doesn't hesitate to throw Williams open or challenge defenders in tight coverage. Jeremy Bernard also stepped up in a huge way with 4 catches for 62 yards and a touchdown, giving Alabama that depth at receiver that makes this offense so dangerous and unpredictable. When you have multiple weapons who can beat you in different ways, it creates massive problems for opposing defenses. Bernard's ability to work the middle of the field and make tough catches in traffic complements Williams' big play ability perfectly, and having both of them healthy and productive gives Simpson the kind of receiving core that can execute any game plan. Now, I got to keep it real with you because this team still has some finishing issues that need to be addressed before they face the murderer's row of SEC opponents coming up. Leading 21-0 at halftime and then only outscoring Wisconsin 21-10 in the second half isn't the kind of killer instinct you need when you're facing the gauntlet that awaits in conference play. There were moments in the fourth quarter where players seemed to let their foot off the gas, where the intensity dropped and where Wisconsin was able to move the ball and score points that shouldn't have been available. Coach DeBoer looked visibly frustrated on the sidelines during those moments, and you could see him getting animated with players who weren't maintaining their focus and effort level throughout the entire game. But honestly, that's exactly the kind of emotion and accountability this program needs right now. DeBoer isn't accepting good enough from anyone, and that standard of excellence is something that needs to be drilled into every player on this roster. The fact that he was upset about the way the team finished against an overmatched opponent shows me that he understands what it takes to compete at the championship level in the SEC. Here's what has me really optimistic about this Alabama team moving forward. They're starting to show that swagger and confidence again, but more importantly, they're backing it up with performance. DeBoer is coaching with fire and passion, demanding excellence from every position group and not accepting anything less than maximum effort. Players like Bray Hubbard are holding themselves and their teammates to championship standards even after dominant performances. And you could see that leadership and accountability starting to spread throughout the entire roster. Most importantly, this offense is finding its identity and personality under Simpson's leadership. The way Simpson is processing the game right now, combined with Williams' explosive playmaking ability and the depth Alabama has at receiver, gives this team the kind of quarterback-receiver dynamic that can carry you through tough SEC games where every possession matters. When you add in the running game that's starting to establish itself and an offensive line that's giving Simpson time to operate, this offense has all the pieces to be special. Speaking of tough games, let's talk about what's coming next because this schedule is absolutely brutal and will test every aspect of this team's development. 7 of Alabama's final 9 opponents are currently ranked, including some of the most challenging road environments in college football. That trip to Georgia is going to be massive, playing between the hedges against the Georgia team that just survived a slugfest with Tennessee in overtime. The Bulldogs looked vulnerable at times yesterday, but they also showed the kind of resilience and fight that championship teams possess. They were down multiple times against Tennessee, but kept responding, kept battling back, and ultimately found a way to win in overtime. Then you've got that road trip to Missouri, which might not look intimidating on paper, but is exactly the kind of game where teams get caught looking ahead. Missouri has always been a scrappy program that can create problems for more talented opponents, especially at home. The trip to South Carolina is going to be particularly challenging. Playing in Columbia is never easy. The crowd will be electric. And if Alabama is going to drop a game this season, that hostile environment might be where it happens. At home, you've got Tennessee coming to Tuscaloosa, and the Volunteers looked really impressive yesterday, even in a losing effort against Georgia. They've got playmakers, they've got speed, and they're going to come into Bryant-Denny Stadium believing they can win. LSU is always ready to play spoiler, especially against Alabama, and even though they're struggling this season, you never count out the Tigers when Alabama comes to town. Oklahoma with John Mateer at quarterback is looking more dangerous every week, and of course, there's the Iron Bowl at Auburn to close out the regular season, which is always going to be a battle regardless of records or rankings. The question everyone's asking is whether Alabama can run the table from here and finish the regular season undefeated. Honestly, with this schedule and the level of competition they're going to face week after week, going undefeated would be an incredible achievement that would put this team firmly in the college football playoff conversation. But here's what I know. If Simpson continues developing at this rate and Williams stays healthy and productive, this offense has the potential to outscore just about anyone in the country. The defense is playing with attitude and physicality, the coaching staff is demanding excellence and accountability, and this team is starting to look like the Alabama we've come to expect under previous regimes. What really excites me is seeing how Simpson compares to other highly touted quarterbacks around the country, particularly when you look at the hype surrounding certain players versus actual on-field production. Right now, today, I'd take Ty Simpson over Arch Manning without hesitation, and I don't think that's even close to being controversial. Manning might have the pedigree, the recruiting rankings, and all the media hype that comes with being part of the Manning family, but Simpson is actually winning games and making plays when it matters most. He's not just managing the offense and trying not to make mistakes, he's elevating everyone around him, making difficult throws look routine, and showing the kind of leadership and poise that translates to victories. The difference between potential and production is what separates good quarterbacks from championship quarterbacks. And right now, Simpson is producing at an elite level while continuing to develop and improve every single week. If you're loving this Alabama football content and want to stay locked in on every Crimson Tide game this season, you absolutely need to subscribe to our channel right now. We're going to be breaking down every game, every performance, and every major storyline as Alabama navigates this brutal SEC schedule. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's ride this championship journey together. Drop a comment below and let me know. Are you buying into the Simpson and Williams connection? And how many games do you think Alabama wins the rest of the way? Alabama football is back, Simpson and Williams are just getting started, and this SEC schedule is about to test everything. We'll be here breaking it all down, so don't miss a single moment of what could be a special season in Tuscaloosa.